Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm here today to present you English. As we have been saying, we have been treating everything on English grammar, and I still promise you and I still hope that we could put in place comprehension passage in this online class. But I have not seen such. Our sure guide is with us. Let us try as much as possible to exhaust everything in the sure guide. We are already in 2000. We are already in 2000. So I believe I should be seeing some of you still being in 2005 now, 2006, and I can see some of you already in 2010. Continue, just note each year on each of them. We are going to treat enrich your grammar today. We are going to enrich our grammar today by discussing voice, active voice and passive voice. Majority of the things you see in your newspaper are reported speech. They are all reported speech. They always report them in past tense. But today we want to talk about active. Who is that person that makes the statement and who is the receiver of the statement? Before we discuss deeply on that, we are going to talk about subject, predicates, and objects. Let's go on to the business of the day. The word or group of words that we speak about in sentence is called the subject. The subject is said to be the doer of an action. Anything we talk about in a sentence is called the word subject. Anything that receives the action is called the word object. And the predicate of a sentence is the word or a group of words that tells us something about the subject. When something is being discussed about the subject, anything that tells us something about our subject is called what? The predicate. While the object of a sentence is a noun that tells us the person to whom the action of the verb happened, the receiver of the word action. We will see many of these type of sentence. We will see what we are trying to say there. What is the subject? What the predicate? Now we will now discuss verb. We have discussed several parts of verbs. These are part of verbs that we call transitive verbs and intransitive verbs. Verbs that take an object are called transitive verbs. Verbs that does not take object are called intransitive verbs that take object are called transitive verbs. And verbs that does not take object at all, that you just see Alao Abdurrahman plays. In that case, there is no object. That type of verb is called a transitive verb. Plays there is a transitive verb. Let me now say Alao Sheikh plays football. After that plays, there is always a football there, which is the word, the noun, which is also what? The object of the sentence. In this case, that place takes what? Object, which is called, that place there is going to be an intransitive verb. So verbs that take object are called intransitive verb, and the one that does not take at all is called a transitive verb. Let's go deeply to identify one or two things to be done there. Definition of active and passive voice. When the subject of the sentence is the doer of the action, we say that verb is active voice. When the subject, the doer of the action, it remains the subject of that sentence is said to be an active voice. But when the object is the subject, is said to be what? A passive voice. When the subject of the sentence is the receiver of the action, we say the verb is a passive voice. Let's go and look at the typical example of what they are trying to active and passive voice. In our subsequent class, I will give you question on active and passive voice. But today we will just be telling us how to get the doer and the receiver of an action. Examples: active voice. Margaret sang a song. The passive voice is a song was sung by Margaret. The policeman caught the thief. The thief was caught by the policeman. The teacher taught the class. The class was taught by the teacher. The boys kicked the ball. The boy was kicked by the boys. So these are examples of active and passive what voice. Active voice and passive what voice. Active voice when the subject is still remain the subject, the doer of an action still remain the subject is called a active voice. But when the receiver of an action remain the subject is called the passive voice. Receiver and doer. Receiver and doer. Receiver and doer. Doer is when the person that did that stuff is the subject of the sentence is the what the doer of the action. That shows that that sentence is an active what voice. Let's go for a typical example of what I'm trying to say here. See, exercise. Say which is the doer and which is the receiver of the action in the following sentence. The cat chased the mouse. You can see the cat there is the doer. While who is receiving the action? The what? The mouse. So the receiver there is the mouse, the cat is the doer. Mary eats the ball. Mary is the doer and the receiver is going to be what? The ball. And the chase there, is it a transitive or intransitive verb? You get to know that that is an example of intransitive verb because it has what? Object. Because it has what? Object. So you are going to pick out the receiver. I told you in our subsequent class we'll be converting from active voice to passive voice. In another class we'll say from passive voice to active voice. Let's have a nice time and remain blessed. Bye.